I'm so glad to be back talking to you about the progress of my campaign to ban plastic in wet wipes. It will be read tomorrow, 20th of January, back again in Parliament. It hasn't yet got government support. So I'm going to see if the government will announce this ban, but I don't think it's going to happen yet, unfortunately. But there was a big breakthrough on plastic reduction by the government last weekend. They have heard how many people really support this, and they announced a ban on things like plastic trays, plastic plates, plastic cutlery. But really disappointingly, they didn't announce a ban on plastic in wet wipes. They instead said there would be more research into this. I'm really frustrated about that. I don't think there needs to be any more research to find out the damage that plastic in wet wipes is doing in our marine environment and the sewers up and down the country as well. So that's the latest thing. So in a way, it's been kicked into the long grass, and I will be campaigning for more action faster. I've been an environment campaigner all my life, really, since I was 12, and I am really passionate about the government doing far more and taking the climate emergency as an emergency. One of those big areas is plastic. So plastic is actually made from fossil fuels, it's made from oil, and then in its burning or burying, it also continues to damage the environment. And we use a staggering amount in the UK. 100 billion pieces of plastic are used by UK households every year. It's just phenomenal. That's 5 million tonnes of plastic, most of which actually isn't recycled. And one of those culprits is plastic in wet wipes, which is a real surprise to people to know that there is plastic in wet wipes, but that's what gives it its strength, and it means that it doesn't break down. But wet wipes do not need to be made with plastic. It can be phased out. They can be made with other materials. So that's my campaign, and that's why I'm doing it, really to cut down on use of plastic across our country, to cut down on those chemicals that are damaging our environment, damaging our marine environments as well, and just to see, and as an example really, of what the government could be doing. They could be going further and faster with this, and they're not. Oh, I totally agree. It is hard to cut down on plastic. It's just everywhere, isn't it? And when I look at the amount that I'm recycling in my household, I think of how much I'm contributing to that huge amount of plastic that's used. I think the advice is reduce, so buy less, try and look out in labelling for those products that don't use plastic, which is, I mean, the Wet Wipes campaign shows that that is possible, that there are companies and there are whole shops, whole chains that now don't use any plastic in their wet wipes, and so consumers can choose those. So Tesco's and Boots, for example, you can go into any of their shops, none of their wet wipes will have plastic in. So just maybe take a little bit more time to see what's got plastic in and what hasn't. Reduce your use, reuse wherever possible, and then recycle. There is huge support. This definitely isn't a party political issue in terms of who can just understand that wet wipes cause so much damage. They cause bigger water bills because they block our sewers, and therefore to have no plastic in them to mean they break down, it makes sense. So huge parliamentary support across the House, and even when I talk to ministers, they say, yes, Fleur, we're trying to do our most, we're trying to get this done. So it seems like everything was going in the right direction. What's not happening is any actual action. Well, I think we absolutely are showing leadership. And sometimes on the doorstep, people say, oh, you're all the same. But just look at our environmental offer. It is so different. So the Shadow team putting together our pledges on, and in fact, it's not just the Shadow DEFRA team. What I think is really good is that it goes across all of our policies. You can't just see this as being one tiny part of what we do. There has to be the environmental agenda throughout. So our Green Prosperity Plan really shows that. It's at the heart of our economic plans, is to say that we'll have our own energy company, that we will be secure in our own country. And that means we reduce energy bills for ordinary households, that we will also have a whole swathe of hundreds of thousands of green jobs if we get into power, and we will insulate 19 million homes across the country. It's those big, ambitious, fast-moving plans that the DEFRA team, actually the whole Shadow team, are putting in place that is really inspiring. The wet wipe campaign has not gone anywhere. In fact, it's getting stronger than ever. The government have banned a whole series of other single-use plastic, but why haven't they included a ban on plastic in wet wipes? It could be done so easily. So I'm meeting with the Minister. I hope I will be continuing to bring this back to Parliament and continuing to campaign until we see this ban and start to get a reduction of plastic.